So thank you very much, Bernice, for making this time to talk to us. Just to start off, your brand is Deploy. Just tell us a little bit about your brand, how long it's been and how it all began.
Okay, so we set up in 2006 originally, and we launched in 2007 and opened our first store in St John Street in Clerkenwell as a pop-up. Then no one really knew what a pop-up was.
Yeah.
But we had a...
you were ahead.
Yes. And then 2008 we moved to Marylebone and had our store there for 10 years. The idea of Deploy is about a strategic action plan. And so from the get-go, the whole point of setting up Deploy is to do something different for the fashion industry and marketplace. And really, to me, that means for people. It's not for brands, it's not for fame, it's not for trends, it's not for getting rich.
Yeah.
It's about how I feel strongly and deeply that fashion has a big problem, and the way the whole industry works from top to bottom. It's not anyone's fault in particular, but it really needs structural change. So what I mean by that is all the way from sourcing, which people now 10 years later think about it a bit more carefully, but back then people really do not care about environmental issues, eco-textiles, less toxic ways of processing things.
Yeah.
But that's only the beginning. Then it goes all the way to design and production. And production, I think people think about it a little bit more, where it's made and whether people are exploited, how much people are getting paid, etc. If that surfaces on their conscience in a while.
Yeah.
However, no one has a problem buying something for £5 or £15 in big fast fashion chains, and it doesn't take a genius to work out that if pre-tax £15 is £12, and then retailer takes 50% of the margin, and then wholesaler takes another 50% of the margin, and the manufacturer takes another 50% of the margin. By the time that you source it back, whoever made that piece of garment is being paid about 20p per hour at best. So I think that is inherently unethical and unsustainable in my view. And even if it's all developing countries need economic engines, of course, and I personally don't have issues of making things in different places, but how it's made and what it's made for, and then how it's used and whether it actually serves end users. That is what I think long and hard about making anything, because if everything that is churned out of the system is only ever just going eventually to the bin, very quickly after it was produced, then that is what is massively wasteful and unsustainable for our environment and for our human resources as well. So I think for Deploy, that whole picture is the reason why we started up, and for me it actually has to start from design. It's not just manufacturers' responsibilities to produce better, it's designers and brand houses' responsibility to commission better, to design better, to design things that actually serve customers properly, fit better, better quality, more versatile, suits their lifestyle, so that they want to keep the style pieces that they purchase.
So what is your background? Are you a fashion designer by training? And
I was originally trained as an architect, but actually in high school I was trained in fine art. Then I did architecture for my degree, but I always was passionate about buildings and clothes. And for me it's the same passion really. It's the things that really matter to people the most. So I love cities and I love people watching, and those are my biggest inspiration. And so for me it's not so much like, oh, I did a switch. It's more I spent a long time in the first sort of 5 to 10 years of my design career thinking about how I can make a difference as a designer with the talents and gifts that I've been sort of...
And so you were talking about the whole picture of sustainability. What is the actual angle for Deploy, would you say? If you were to say, how are you a sustainable brand?
Customization. So it's all about customization. So as I said, if you source very environmentally, that's wonderful. But if you produce things that people don't particularly feel that they're in love with, then it's a waste of effort and resources. So it has to be customer focused in terms of what's really missing in their lives. And So what is the trigger like? But we all keep designing clothes and selling clothes. So it has to be something that is an improvement or improvement from all the other clothes that they have. And that's what drives me to design. It's all about how the curves work on a woman, which part of the dress that really needs a pocket and never has one, how do people wear it, running around, kind of going from dropping off kids to going to work, and how do people travel. So these are all the kind of functional aspects I think Deploy aims to champion.
So when it comes to sort of, because I've interviewed quite a few brands that that are sustainable, and quite often when they sell in certain markets, the customers want assurance that this is a sustainable brand. Quite often there's accreditation certifications that are used. Do you have anything like that?
We are a carbon smart certified company. It's about wasting less.
Good.
So reducing our carbon footprint from how much paper we use each day to how much offcut that we salvage production, whether we drive everywhere or not. So,
and I've seen on your website that you have a tailoring service. Is that right? So people can bring the clothes back and get it repaired or amended.
Absolutely.
So is that a new initiative, or is that always been there?
This is how we've always done from the start.
Yeah.
Because we use not only environmentally certified materials, we use the top quality material, and with such expensive materials, we can't not do decent designs with it. It would be criminal to waste such good fabric. So we really strive to use the best craftsmanship and tailoring technique to sculpt the clothes on people. And if their shape changes, or if something sort of wears out, or simply that a wider color was in and not so much anymore, we will alter it for them. And many loyal customers, once they really know our skills and our design capability, they often bring things that they used to really like but just doesn't quite work anymore. Many of them are big name brands like Gucci or Lanvin. They'll take the whole outfit to us and we redesign it and refit it for them. Because to me, those things should not go to waste.
No.
They are investment pieces. They are beautiful materials that really last. So if we're commissioned to update the design, we're happy to do that.
Yeah, fantastic. And who would you say is your current customer? Do you have a certain customer profile?
I would say our main customer base is 30 plus. And we do have some professional women in the late 20s. But I think our clientele tend to be quite cultural, quite international, or multicultural. Many working women, high caliber working women. Of course, there are also stay-at-home mums as well, but our clients tend to be very active and very engaged, different current affairs, different philanthropy work, or very dynamic.
And how do you actually sell your clothes? Because I find that it looks very, very chic. I'd say that's how I'd say your fashion is. It's very chic and very smart. And it's probably not something you would find everywhere. So who actually do you use to sell, and where do you sell? How do you sell?
We sell all direct to consumers.
You don't use wholesales, you don't use any agents. I guess you get to tell your story in a personal level.
Yes, of course there is that, but also even more important to me is that we get to meet our customers. We know them and we learn about them and we get to understand them, get to know what they need, what they want, and is how we learn and improve and design things that they want. So that interaction is critical. And you couldn't find that out by selling in big department stores. Have buyers order a few things and you don't know who it is that liked your stuff or didn't like your stuff and return the stuff.
Yeah, I think that is what we're seeing also in the fashion industry, that a lot of people are wanting to use stylists, they're wanting advice, they want some feedback from fashionistas, and quite often they don't seem to get that. So you're providing that already from your fashion angle. angle. It's kind of incorporated into your business model, it sounds like.
Yes, from the get-go, actually.
Yeah. Wow. And what about your marketing? Do you find that you're also marketing yourself in the usual ways, like in social media, or is that not something that
Yes, we do social media. But I think for better or for worse, because we've really thought about every single aspect of what we do and how the industry and marketplace works, we don't feel that we have to conform in any particular way. If it's a great way, then of course we also do it, but if it's a problematic way, then we find other ways to do things. And that's in the nature of our operation business model. So our marketing is very much of a homegrown sort of strategy. You know, Claudia, who's our marketing director, is absolutely brilliant, and she's got sort of top tier global marketing background in her career, in the first 10 years of her career, but also is a very versatile thinker and doer. So together we work very closely to set up different types of marketing strategy, reach the people that we need to reach.
You've been growing obviously since 2007, and what is your sort of next stage, do you think? You know, do you want to become a massive brand that's recognised? What is your plan?
So we're pretty much at the step one of our next phase plan now, where we are completely focused on direct sale with our roving trunk shows and pop-ups and catwalk shows and partnerships currently in 10 different cities in the world, and we are looking to increase that each season. That's how we went from one city.
And so if you were to think about any sort of service to kind of grow your business more in that strategy, would there be any services that you want or need? I mean, you've got your marketing director Claudia, who's doing all that marketing, but is there anything else that you think that you might want to invest in?
I think it would not actually be information based. It would have to be interaction based. Yes. So we can't get enough people to write personal emails for us, and we have people's information. We've met them, and we'd like to keep in touch with them better. But these mass email sort of campaigns don't really do the trick. So I think a very, very clever app that sort of personalizes.
As I say, your brand is very, very chic and stands out in terms of style and design and quality. But what about sort of working collaboratively with other brands? Is that something that you're up for, or are you quite particular about?
What kind of brands?
Just sustainable fashion brands that are small sustainable fashion brands.
Well, to be honest, I think if I were to work with other brands, of course I think as a collective group of sort of forum, that makes a lot of sense. But I think if we were to work with other brands, I'd like to work with big brands that aren't very sustainable and work out how we can mutually benefit and that we can kind of give some of our know-how and as well as some of our agenda to share with them that they don't need to change their overarching direction and, you know, business bottom line or their global drive, but that they can actually start to have a slightly different perspective in terms of how they do things. So but we're always up for collaboration.
Good. Well, thank you so much,
It's a
Bernice.
pleasure.
I know you're very, very busy, and I really appreciate you making this
I was
time.
just thinking, what a perfect sort of blessing that I get to sit down in a comfortable chair for 20 minutes.